uh, Hi, everyone. I'm Thea Matthews. Born and raised in San Francisco. I was like, what year is that from? Anyway, it doesn't even matter. But poet, author from SF, now Brooklyn based. I have work out in the webs. You can find me, and I can put in the chat. My debut poetry collection, Unearth the Flowers, is available, and you can get that from Amazon to Bookshop to your local bookstore. And so, but yes, thank you so much for the invitation to be here. Grateful to be among all these writers, creatives, artists. Yes. And as was just said, before Robert, D. Allen said it, every month is Black History Month. And every month is a month, actually every day.
Yep, we've lost your audio there for a second.
Oh, do you hear me now?
There, it's back, yeah.
Okay, sorry. So I don't know what was lost, but just that every day, every month is a call to uphold Black Lives Matter, to honor Black history, and to remember, and at the same time, I'm very grateful because it's efforts being done to, I don't know, I guess to like kind of bring to light more of what has been under the veil in this country, the United States of America. And so poems, okay, Rob, if you can give me like a 5-minute wrap up, I have quite a good selection of poems I hope to share with all of y'all. And they're from 2 working manuscripts. I may not share too much from Unearth. It'll be newer work. So this is kind of like a stay tuned. I'll start with this one. And so one is from Grim Grime. And then another series is Americana. She says, we're dreams walking in the world, on the land of red skin, red blood, on the land of a civil war. She says we will walk on rifles for freedom, on missiles for food, on the hymns of spirituals, humming the cries of our children killed, their parents detained, pried away from their homes. We will use our words as grenades, demolish all borders. We will rise with our ancestors who summoned us. We will transcend this grim, grime world to live. Come. We the people, hyphenated, diasporic, washed ashore from kidnapping, detox and incubators, in the cold underbelly of the city, in the unity of the spirit, in the sunlight of glistening spider webs, a passionate procession gets a streamlined kick drum on a major highway. The demonstrations have begun. We rise barefoot, legs sprawled, hips stretch. We refuse to die alone. Now the ocean floor spreads, continents question their boundaries. On new land, water rises or recedes. We proclaim the power, we have the power to obstruct white supremacy, patriarchy, heteronormativity. Our raised fists, shouts through megaphones, denounce the orthodox, desist violence, demolish all isms and phobias. We trudge in motion as our blood douses the land, new crust for the core. We block presidential alerts, the feature tan lines, the humans pretending to be AI. In the centenaries of the March on Washington, Stonewall, blocked bridges, hunger strikes, taking back the night, pro-peace, anti-war, protests. We say their names. We remember. I think I'm just gonna like bust out with some anthems, I guess, if you will. More like hyper political. It'll be a journey, a ride. Ready? Okay, cool. At nightfall. Armies of cops in riot gear stand ready to block us from gathering in the street. Who is protecting who when no one is safe in the face of a baton and a Glock 22? Each bullet has a name, a face at the point. The marchers prevail, regardless of weak joints. Herds of uniforms barricade the pathways. We find another way, always, to rise. Solidarity, the weapon, the subversive stride. Expose backdoor deals of the POA. No one can hide. Rebels resist. They are determined to kill. Who is trying to kill our city first? Whose city? Our city. Whose streets? Our streets. Thank you. All right. What's going on? With my window open, this timeless bloom of light, this motif of a balmy soprano sax resounds through the emptiness of a barrel by the gates of Brower Park. Mother, mother. The mural across the street has chipped paint of a police officer. A young Black boy crying, a dead body fatally shot, a cop car in motion. Marvin Gaye was fatally shot by his father. We're left with a yearning for safety by the curb. Sirens rush to death. We have a song sung for the dead. The mural's message, disarm community. Rely on slave catchers. Police still for protection. Say something, save someone. Our Second Amendment is not a wafer for Holy Communion. Why is God assassinated daily? The American flag half-mast around the corner from the mural. Father, Father. In mourning, we thicken the wind with a eulogy. Hail cement with bouquets of stargazer lilies, zip tie prayers of photocopied portraits, stolen Black onyx, those murdered by what state defines as state intervention. Their enameled eyes join cop watch. Their smiles linger the multitude of protests, honoring siblings killed by the unrest, resting within confines of a sick mind. Racism is a mental illness. The shattered intellect, fear and power. Oh, brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. What apology could ever rectify accusations to only become a corpse in custody? What settlement could there ever be to justify the kidnapping, shooting, shoving the knee on a neck, feel panic and a last gasp for breath before silence? We all scream, I can't breathe. Don't punish me with brutality. A gunshot, hands behind the trigger. The mural stares across the street, pulls the trigger on this gun show loophole, stating 33 states allow unlicensed dealers to sell guns without a background check or proof of identity. Yet, gun-clenching police still hold onto their pensions. Murder justified in our times. According to the mural, 90% of crime guns come from other states via the iron pipeline, while these registered guns in state legally kill unarmed bands of us. What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? All right, so I'm from SF, like I said. It'll be in the poem, but actually, fuck, I'll just read it. It'll be in the poem. Revolution is for the hopeless, says the old wall of an abandoned family rec spot on Turk and Fillmore, the heart of one-time Black Harlem of the West, where jazz echoed on swings and blues was felt on the rooftops of slick shoes, permed hair, and glamour. Boys would often skip school, later play with bullets, while girls would do their braids by passenger side mirrors, together jump rope in front of the police station, holler to the blunts on the corner of what is now the Western Addition, Alamo Square, where out-of-towners get their luggage stolen, and thin blonde braids overshadow rare sightings of Black children, smiling, running, giggling through the streets of San Francisco, the city, the streets, where now you walk for blocks and only see the semitones, the commas of existence, of survival, of persistence. Revolution is for those who refuse to lose hope, who are still here, who dwell in the belly of the city, who have the strength to revolt, overthrow social order, fight the power. And I'm so sorry, I think I cursed a little bit. I hope it's not too PG. My apologies. You can charge me. Okay. Thank you all for listening. So yeah, this is from a working collection. And before I get to Americana, I want to see how much I can be here. A razor. These streets, dry like a razor on skin cold, unwanted from the womb. Bodies occupy each corner. Old bums, young junkies stick out their tongues. The hot pandering of sick desires loosens teeth. I wish I could scream inside their gums, chip teeth on frozen water, chase clouds promising a one-time rapture. The smoke to escape from the mundane, melancholy haunts even the trees in a relentless storm. Life is reduced to skin scraped on gravel, each bone ripped apart, my rib cage dismantled, to sell for dope. In each valve of my heart, ghosts blow bubbles. I exhale my hope for survival as rats cross corners, switch to another side of the street. And we're good. Okay. Shall we? Yes. Boost for Sam. So 1, definition, boost. It's a verb. It means to steal, shoplift. Some of you may know this. Some of you, this might be an Urban Dictionary lesson 101. Boost. Definition. 2, the yearning. Xeric eyes see everything as a price tag. A small bag curled up under a tongue. Insects crawl over skin. Spirit still alive despite possession of fear. Hope for a new life or death is near. The drag of breath, another day. The weight of time, the abyss. The glass burns. These lips wish they can just blow breath away or flick the fly off. Even better, they wish someone would just boost it. 3, the waiting. A man depleted by failed attempts leans on the old Walgreens on 16th, takes a seat, waits. He has nothing left but another run in his blue jeans, and he knows it. Blows out spit bubbles like a little anxious boy, chewing cheap gum in a defeated daze from another fight to survive. Another day begins, the same old shit, that grim grime of repeating the same old shit, boost for that fentanyl fix, deflect reflection of his own shadow on concrete, be another missing person trapped. How could he not look back on days like these and wonder, just wonder? And I'm sorry, I hope you don't hear. If you do, we'll just roll with it. Some background noise. Okay, good, thank you. And then 4, the lost. His name is Sam. Nice kid. With etiquette you just don't hear anymore these days. Every moment was a thank you. Every finger stained. Most of his teeth have rotted. He has an abscess on each side of his neck, yet still he smiled. When he approached me for a cigarette, I gave him one, then asked, "How old are you?" He said, 25, May 4th, 1994. "Oh," I smiled. "Oh, may the 4th be with you." I saw gums. A good laugh was made. Laughter these days is rare, especially in the tracks of fentanyl and Xanax. But laughter heals, always. I got to hear Sam laugh. He stayed with me longer. He's not from here. Came from SoCal or the East Coast. I can't remember. I can tell His spirit was scared. I asked him, "Are you done?" "I'm not ready. It's not working for me anymore, but I'm not ready." "Still?" And after another day of rinse, cycle, repeat, rise and shine, to shoplift, to earn money, to shove needle to vein, to nod off to escape, to worry mom and dad again, to avoid living on life's terms, to rely on an illusory crutch convinced it propels perambulation, a stroll through a blazing fire, he said, "I'm not ready." I looked down, my eyes raised to meet his. "You know something, Sam. You are loved. You are so very loved. You deserve to live, to have this, a pure connection with a human being, a swath of unconditional love, a body well enough to call home in." "Come home, Sam," I wanted to say. "Come home." Mm. And then this one, I'll close this manuscript or this section of the reading with aftermath for Margot. This city is vicious, expressionism, the lyric of a sky so high, clouds vomit in the line for more, where trans women hustle with grace and skyscraper men are a dying breed. Could you ever stand in such beauty? On the asphalt of cops so bored they play with fireworks, left with toy guns to shoot in pig pens, people will carve initials on trees, once forced to hold the lynch. Like bodies swaying away from defeat, flames now sway for reparations. This city is a slow suicide, a last breath found in a pill bottle. She disappeared, was found dead face down. The houseless intense remember her name. They say the city killed her as they lay on crushed newspapers, promises for more housing to rectify the homelessness, the crisis. She was once alive. So that's going to switch gears. Thank you. All right. So that was Grim Grind. This is Americana. So this is new work, y'all. Very intimate setting. This is some of it's been individually published. Others, it's at this point word of mouth, and so it's really exciting. So work in progress, new. Thank you. And with Americana, so each poem bears the same title. I work a lot with form, and in a sense, this is contributing to the political discourse on US American history, right? That extends to Indigenous history, Black history. Black history is US history. And relying on the American flag and Americana, right? Folk colonial art, having that be the entryway into much heavier themes, if you will. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah. And this is a crown. We'll see. In this country, liberty, you mere slabs of concrete, granite, you stand silent, with lips silent, you, made of copper, gold, steel, the cast iron of your feet, chained, stock still, stone-hearted, a mere tourist attraction, you stand silent, with lips silent, you, made of copper, bruised with deceit, hypocrisy, your torch of empty talk. Has liberty always been a synonym for conquest in gold, steel, the cast iron of your feet, chained, enslaved, named mother of exiles? This ravaged land never held my freedom. You lie, masses yearning to breathe free. You stock still, stone-hearted, a mere tourist attraction. You stand, Statue of Liberty, for no other than the elite. A trumped promise, there is no torch for my mother. And that phrase, Mother of Exiles, is taken from Emma Lazarus's The New Colossus, right, written 1883. that's in the little plaque by the Statue of Liberty. And so all these like classic historical like symbols, right? Definitely, especially from my debut collection, symbols are big. Symbols is language. Not to get too cultural anthro with it, but yeah, big into symbols. And so this is stuff I'm working on while I'm at NYU right now, attaining their MFA, or I'm part of their MFA program in poetry. And so here we go. Some of this is really new. All right. A trumped promise. There is no torch for my mother. She weeps in tears of bloodshot eyes, tear gas caught in the throat, the white, untouchable, supremacy in blue denim, violent, yet calmly detained to this disregarded. She weeps in tears of bloodshot eyes, tear gas caught by the wind. Run away. They're coming after you. A herd of mindless men and women, the thick phlegm caught in the throat, the white untouchable, supremacy in blue suits, pressed uniforms, fumbling a Confederate flag. What star would have to hold back its light after white in denim, violent yet calmly detained to the disregarded and attempted coup? This heartless state suddenly misplaces its handcuffs. I fight. I am dangerous, wanted for murder. I fight. I am dangerous, wanted for murder. Classified civilian turned terrorist in a country founded by terrorists. Fabric flows above anguish. This skin not in, hoisted on a pole. The lexicon of torture. I, a classified civilian turned terrorist in a country founded by terrorists. This black morsel, this sonic suspension of psalms demeans the right in a country founded by terrorists. Fabric flows above anguish. This skin on stolen soil, the coils of rope unravel. What is justice, I say? A flag held to excavated ruins, with hope not in, hoisted on a pole. The lexicon of torture, I a bold blue, surpassing 13 stripes. I fight, knowing my pleas to breathe rest upon you to be with me. You might notice a pattern here. My pleas to breathe rest upon you to be with me. Not a sappy sentiment, a moment of truth, really. In this defining moment, my pulse in another's hand. Do you stand with me? Which side are you on, my friend? Choose not a sappy sentiment, a moment of truth, really. In this trying hour, as we walk through valleys, shadows of death, fear no white conserve of supremacy. I salute only this defining moment, my pulse in another's hand. Do you feel the urgency to demand accountability, to wrest sovereignty from this oligarchy in charades? I plead, stand with me. Which side are you on, my friend? Choose, be aware of peculiar mental twists, the pervasive nature of genocide as bullets soar, cartridges, traces disappear. Of genocide as bullets soar, cartridges, traces disappear like missing children, evidence of them last seen, erasure of a handprint, no one found guilty. Each time I heard acquittal, looked askance, clenched fist to sun, tears went like missing children, evidence of them last seen, erasure. Like, oh, that didn't happen, when in fact the body knows the hands. A gospel sung, a shimmering soul, blue lips of a handprint, no one found guilty. Each time I heard a murderer claim innocence, I said, F you, say I did it, say what must I do to amend the wrong. Instead, I saw a debate, acquittal, looked askance, clenched fist to sun, tears went to pierce, riot shields, man's pride, this country's assembled by delusion. To admit devastates the ego of white. By delusion, to admit devastates the ego of white. What I mean is to admit the recklessness of mistakes, the insane terror terrorizing a people would profoundly deflate the ego of white. Disarm murderers, put a period, What I mean is to admit the recklessness of mistakes would humble the strands interwoven within the fabric, slow the metronome of this country's heartbeat. Finally, the insane terror terrorizing a people would profoundly diminish. Those who play with guns, use black as targets, would be replaced, not with the same color and uniform, deflate the ego of white, disarm murderers, put a period. I say to this unlocalized plot of text, to this residual smog of defeat, we shall overcome, not by the sweep of a broom. And I have two more for you. We shall overcome, not by the sweep of a broom, not by a waved hello from a podium, not by a swoon over the latest speech, using keywords, i.e., democracy, unity. Instead, we will pull the weeds from each plot, take root, not by a waved hello from a podium, not by a swoon over fleeting relief. We will know how clean the water is in our streets. By now, we know what feeds us. Predictable, the latest speech using keywords, i.e., democracy, unity, the cheap selling lexicon of the politician, a swirl of Cool Whip on a slice of pie, clogged arteries, the option to bleed. Instead, we will pull the weeds from each plot, take root on stilts of what this country could be, muster the faith of a mustard seed in a plantation, grow shooting stars. Grow, shooting stars, cast fireworks across the sea like a ship sailing strenuously. Bodies surpass skyscrapers, a taut way, a faulty promise, an illusion, the American dream, delusions in a double helix, call to a new freedom like a ship sailing strenuously. Bodies surpass skyscrapers. Here is the weight of iron, steel toe to teeth. What cements a victory in the midst of hate? Wraps bodies in hefty fabric, a taut way, a faulty promise, an illusion, the American made jingle of contradictions. Here, no public consensus. Apparently, one must prove they are human. The ranking of a dream, delusions in a double helix, call to a new freedom, press conference, protests. I repeat, the endless fight in this country. Liberty, you mere slabs of concrete, granite. Thank you. Are we good on time? I think I have more, but I also want to be mindful of time. And I think, you know, I see all of y'all. Yes, thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate it.
good. Yeah.
Thank
Please. That's good. If you have more to share, we'd be happy to have.
Oh, a few more? Or like right now? Okay. Yeah, I have a couple. So what I just read to you was a crown, right? So it was eight poems, right? First line ultimately becomes in like the last line of that series, and then they just kind of build. So like the last line of the first poem becomes the first line of the second poem, and so on and so on. And oh, you're so sweet. Oh, thank you, Arlene. That's what's up. For years, my right hand over my heart, my little body in single file, uniformed, abused, standing next to a body hung. I stared at the finial. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, in single file, uniformed, abused, standing next to a body vacant. Liberty, a starless night, the sham of concessions. I hate to be bought and call it justice. With the loyalty to the hung, I stared at the finial. I pledge allegiance to the flag not yet made, with liberty and justice for all, who without deceit, one nation would have a land, call to its people of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, the acquisition, the godlessness of an eye, see these cuts as a child eye, would stare, slash skin, gaze at the stripes of blood. Thank you. I think I might close with that. Hold on, there's one more. we've been on a little journey here. Sorry if you hear these clicks. I'll close with this. And let me, since this is an ekphrastic piece and we are virtual, do I have privileges to share my screen? If not, okay, sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. Let me get you that just a second. Okay. So let's see if I can do it. Okay, go ahead and try now.
Thank you. All right. So this is by Frederick Edwin Church, 1861. The painting is Our Banner in the Sky. Together, we stare at a barren tree by land seemingly untouched. The thing about molestation is that often one cannot see the internal bruising, the skin smooth, a calm river calms us, remains untouched. The thing about molestation is that often death is like death. A barren tree is like a barren tree. A summer's twilight precipitates veins of coral billows one cannot see. The internal bruising. Rape is like rape. An eagle soars across the sky. Its wings flap above a slanted pole. A sign to be brave, to feel, the skin smooth. A calm river calms us, remains the beloved of stars, stripes, with flames blazing from gut to mouth. God be with us as we rise. Thank you so much. Ekphrastic piece, yes, thank you.
Snaps for you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, that was fantastic. I want to open it up to the audience. Is it okay if somebody has a question for you? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great. Folks, if you have a question for Thea, go ahead and raise a hand or speak up. Now's the time. And then let us know, when is your next performance? When and where can we find you next?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm like still like, what is time? I'm in school.
Yeah.
I can be found on social media. And I know like I post stuff on my Instagram as to when things pop up. But as of right now, it's to the grind, writing, revising, editing, repeat.
Yeah.
There you go. And read. But you know, Instagram at Thea Matthews _.
Got it. You know, we have new programming for youth, and I'm going to be a little bit selfish here with this question. And can you just elaborate a little bit on the importance of Writer Corps on your development earlier for our young folks here?
Oh, it's amazing. Yes, Writers Corps. I mean, I would not be here if it weren't for such literary arts organizations that were geared towards youth, specifically underrepresented youth, right? Youth that were, I don't know, labeled at risk, you know, or, and so Writers Corps, you know, there's Youth Speaks and then there was Writers Corps. And I came across Writers Corps through, honestly, like the main public library and the weekly poetry classes that were taught by Gloria Yamato. And through going to these weekly poetry classes, I got more involved. I eventually became like a youth intern, and then I became like a peer educator and went to like continuation high schools and like assisted Writers Corps teachers like Mahru Alahi and others to teach poetry, you know, and go to, you know, I got introduced into the open mic realm. And it was so powerful in as a young baby poet, like to discover voice, to read on craft, like to read and study the craft of others. But really, like honestly, to in a sense, like poetry gave me permission. And so the space that Writers Core fostered was essentially the incubator for like, girl, go ahead and write. Like you can write anything, you can put anything in a poem, your voice is your own. And, you know, it was like how utilizing this medium, right, as an artist, with poetry writing, we have like the construction of language. We're able to like, you know, tell stories how we would like to tell stories, you know, like I didn't have to fit a mold necessarily. It gave me a lot of freedom and a lot of comfort and solace in becoming more authentic, you know. That's really exciting. I can't, like, that's beautiful. I applaud y'all for doing that.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? Yeah. I see something here from Ken. Good luck on the MFA. Haunted by one of your lines from earlier. They lay on crushed newspapers. Appreciate your courage and the work throughout. Look forward to reading more.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love the work you're doing with Americana and the weaving, and I see it in my mind as a new tapestry, a new quilt, a new flag for the country, the authentic flag. We have another message here from D saying there was no writer core, youth speaks, or in the case of New York City, urban voice when I was a young poet. I had to figure out this poetry thing completely on my own. WC trained you well.
Taking years, I mean, and it's never too late to enroll in a class. So that's the thing too, right? Like after Writers Core, some years later, you know, as I was a student at City College of San Francisco, I took some creative writing poetry classes from John Isles, you know, and then some years after that, like Berkeley P for P, and then now NYU.
Yeah.
But I would say take classes. I mean, there's City College, if anyone's looking for, you know, like old, I don't know if like San Jose State or for any, I know this is based in San Jose right now, but community colleges is always a great resource. What's my favorite June Jordan poem? There's so many, and I mean, am I going to be cliche? I say cliche only in the sense of because this is like one of the main poems that she's like known for. But of course, she would be known for a poem about my rights. That long epic poem where she just goes in, goes micro, goes macro, and she's talking about the body, sexual assault, rape, where she goes on this political rant and yet remains so intimate. And then like just she's just a heavy hitting poet. So yeah, I love a poem about my rights. I wish there were more that I could recollect. I read Passion Fueled by Desire or Passions by Desire, like I don't know, like 2, maybe 3-inch thick, like anthology, like 30 plus years of her work. Just like the collected poems of June Jordan. And you read that, like you will be changed. You will be transformed. I was like, I felt like there was a before and after from reading like all of her work. Yeah. Like I said. Yes, P for P is also a City College. Thank you, D. Sorry, yes, but
And what are you reading right now? What's
one of the books, I mean, it's been assigned to me, but it's interesting because it came out University UC Press out of Berkeley. Dictée by the late Teresa Cha, or Hak Young Cha. And so that's been really interesting to read. But what if so that book, I recently read James Baldwin, The Fire Next Time. That was really good. Yes. I chose that one. No one assigned me that book. I know, just like I was like homework right here. But yeah, recently read that, and that was really good. Patricia Smith, Incendiary Art. She wrote Blood Dazzler. Love Patricia. And then a few others. I mean, over like kind of winter break, I read Horsepower by Joy Priest and Inheritance by Taylor Johnson. Those are both like Black poets, phenomenal in their own right.
Yeah, yeah. And what kind of music has been informing your days and nights? What have you been going to, or what has it come to? What okay, you're gonna share. All right.
I'm just gonna like put this in the chat box because I can, and it's amazing. I hope you all don't get like my account. I don't think so. I think I can just like share, right?
Like a soundtrack. Oh.
So now so for those who listen at a later date, y'all missed out. Those who are here, you're all about to like enjoy your trip.
Uh-huh.
Oh, sorry. Do y'all hear me? Is it
Yeah. You're good.
And enjoy some good old Alice Coltrane.
Oh, she's oh God.
Yeah. So that's Journey in the such. I can't. Someone will laugh. I can't. Such a shit. Nope. Not even gonna do it. Journey in S. Someone wants to like help me out there, but it's like one of her most like known albums. Love Alice. Yeah. So
well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Much appreciated. And I think you got, what do we have here? A lot of friends, new fans, and old fans enjoying you tonight.